Yeah, I mean the team's been great. I've been with them officially about 2.5 weeks now. So we haven't had much time together, but I think we are progressing at a really fast rate. Exceeding my expectations. Honestly, everyone's learning very fast. We're getting on very well. Our chemistry's looking good in game. We all get along. So I think I have nothing but high hopes for this team, and I at least want to be able to express my experience with this team. So obviously, I think me and Huen are probably the most the veterans of the team. So I think our experience is going to be able to lead these new players. Hopefully we can win the whole thing, right? So, and I think we can do that. I think this team looks very promising. It's been very, very good. I actually don't really feel like there's that much of a difference between challengers and the tier 1 side, because I mean, I think the skill level is, if you look at it like a range or like a scale, they're not that far off. And I think the only difference is how much time they're willing to put in, because of in challengers, there's that much backing support right now. So I think that's really the only difference in gap, but I think the skill level is pretty even, honestly. So yeah, that's all I really have to say about that. So we gotta set our goals, kind of, one step at a time. Right now, we're just looking to think of playoffs right now, since we are somewhat of a new team. But obviously, we want to be able to win the whole thing, make it to Ascension, win Ascension, and then we make it back in the league. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's everybody's goal. But also we got to take it one step at a time, not get complacent, and just make sure that we get our job done. Because we want to make sure, like I said, we make the most of it. So I think that's the way we got to approach it.
All right, well, we got a game 3 on our hands. Nightblood Gaming to take down their map pick of Pearl. Honestly, from how this started off, Ash, Shopify Rebellion Gold 5 rounds in a row looked a little unstoppable. And then Nightblood Gaming, they just completely flipped the script.
No, it was pretty insane how they stole that momentum away and continued to run with it for 12 rounds in a row. Especially just seeing them kind of, I think, get used to the pacing that they wanted to move towards, and finding a lot of holes in the defense of SRG as well, right? I think our casters were talking about it. Noya, unfortunately, not having the same kind of performance that we necessarily expected from her. And a lot of that had to do with the utility that was being thrown out. She was being isolated on an island a lot of the times, especially towards that A side, where you saw her have to reposition and start playing a bit more offside.
Something that of note, too, I mean, Dan might curse me for this one, but we got to see that Odin come out a lot sooner, and you can't deny the impact that Kes was able to have on this game, Dan, when that came out. Hate or not, hey, 12 rounds in a row, I think that speaks for itself.
Of course you asked me about the Odin. Wow, that's crazy. No, but it's really disruptive. It's really annoying to deal with this Odin so early, right? It feels like when those duelist players are buying that operator round 3, but instead of that is your initiator player Kes with the Fade running and buying this on that 3rd round. It's crazy because I feel like if you're on the opposite side, and I feel like that's something for Shopify Rebellion to say, but you get so annoying when you see the 3Ks happening over and over again. But it's happened. Something that we mentioned for Noya on that map 1 is exactly what happened for Kes on that 2nd map. He was having such a strong start, kind of leading the charge and being the reason why they were able to get that momentum on the 1st one. And as Ash was saying, get those 12 rounds in a row, even with the pistol in the 2nd half.
Looking across the board at the performance everyone was able to put up, I mean, we highlighted different people going into this, but Ash, Sarah, regardless of the loss, being able to have a good performance. But on the other end, I mean, they just got kind of gunned down by Alum going crazy.
Yeah, you definitely have to give a nod towards Sarah in that, but thinking about not even just Alan, but also like Kess kind of being like that head-to-head of like the recon initiators and like the different styles and approaches that they take with that as well. You look towards how well he played in map 1 over on Haven, where it was, we were just running back the Odin gameplay. Our casters gave a nod to the fact that he was even saving into it in that second half to get it on as early as possible. And I honestly, I wish we had like a counter for how many multi-kills he was able to get with this. Even just unconventional positions for Kess there as well on that initiator role, where you'll see him taking some of those like lurk style positions instead, going for those backstabs, which we saw on both maps back to back.
I know, I'm kind of cursing myself a little bit in all of my notes. That wasn't something that I kept track of. You'd see the kill feed, like 1 kill for Kess, 2 kills for Kess. Okay, there's a third, the Odin just going absolutely nuts. And Dan, I won't make us talk about the Odin anymore, but I do know that there was a round, looking back at round 16, that you wanted to be talking about.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this round because this was actually really, really good for Nightblood. They already had that momentum that we talked about on that second half, but there was just a pause right before on the side of Shopify Rebellion, and it was an eco coming next. When you see that happening, teams have to be expecting that change of tempo of probably a fast play for the eco, trying to get something out of it. And Nightblood was really, really well prepared for it. I mean, I think we're going to be seeing it soon, but is expecting to push for mid. And that is something that I was paying attention to. And we mentioned right at the beginning of this map, what is the Neon going to be doing? How is the entry going to look like? How disruptive is the Neon going to be on those entries into the site? And I mean, first of all, there was already a pretty good advantage on that first half, but second of all, it was Alum, a lot of rounds going mid, taking a little bit of mid presence, this round specifically with the rest of the team. And for the rest, we saw just the standard, I think from like 2 years ago, that standard wall on B long just to make it all the way across.
I mean, Alum is someone too that when we even got to see him back in stage 3, this Neon, but now that the round is up, Dan, I'll pass you the talking stick real quick again.
Yeah,
Thanks,
it's pretty much what he said. So what's cool about this is that this is right after a pause on the side of Shopify Rebellion. This is really nice flash, and the expected push that is just a perfect read for the side of Nightblood. And you know, it's an eco. It's after a pause. You want to change your tempo. You want to play it raw, and I mean that flash really helps out to set up this play for success.
And I mean, first off, nice little play there. And going back to talking about Alum, Alum was someone that throughout stage 3, we got to see a decent amount from, and questions too with this Neon. If once it started going kind of out of viability, how well versed would he be on it? But looking at what he was able to do at bringing up his stats from this match, the answer is still quite a lot. When we've gotten to see this Neon, I mean, maybe the first map there is a kill or two misdash that, you know, old Neon would have gotten, but really be able to show it off well in this map.
Yeah, and the synergies with the rest of his team there as well, right? We definitely saw, you know, the fact that he was doing those standard walls that into back halls on B that Dan was talking about. But then there's also the fact that you'd see it paired with Quinn's utility. This is one of the pushes right there. You've got the concuss out, and then there's also, I think there was a concuss or a suck that goes back to site coming out from the Astra there as well. And there are just so many opportunities to cover so much ground with util with their composition to give him the most comfortable possible entry onto site. So the support for that tip of the spear is really nice to see from Nightblood.
I mean, definitely good look coming out from that player, especially now third map in the series. It's going to Abyss, a map that neither team was most well versed on last time we saw them, but time to start heading into our agent select. So we don't have to go over too many hypotheticals, only answer. But Dan, what was for sure? This was a rough showing from Nightblood last week. So yeah.
Yeah, one of the points that we talked about, and there's a pretty big difference in the compositions here. Once again, Shopify Rebellion, we had the questions of what were they going to do here? Was there going to be a change or not? They keep running this standard composition with especially Noya on the Cypher, something that you need to be paying attention to if they're playing it the same way that we used to see it before. A lot of lurks towards mid, a lot of presence towards mid, and how they work around this utility, especially for Nightblood, with a Vice that can be very disruptive.
Yeah, and I think it's really interesting to see, you know, Shopify Rebellion, they just consistently look to kind of play their own game. You're talking about those compositional differences. Nightblood, we've seen even on with their Haven composition, kind of leaning more into what's currently popular within the meta. But at the same time, the Vice is also going to be like the solo Sentinel this time around. So you're going to look more towards Boy being on that Astra to be a bit of a difference maker here as well on the side of Nightblood Gaming, just to give that kind of additional stall potential from them. But a couple of changes as well, I think, on the side of SR2. Previously, I'm pretty sure Mel was also playing the Astra before, now leaning more into that Omen. So maybe more potential to add that additional utility with the Paranoia to help Dodonut on those entries, especially if something maybe goes awry, dealing with that Vice utility.
I mean, last one too, Alum, who we highlighted, a big switch up going to that Jet instead. So we'll have to see if changes coming out from this team have helped fix a couple of these. This third map in the series, it's time to get underway. And for the final time today, back over to your casters.
Thanks so much, Sierra. Thanks so much, Desk. Yes, after this map, one of these teams are going to get their first win in Challengers. And off of, well, a turnaround of how their last Abyss went. But with their last Abyss comes with changes in the comps, as the Desk pointed out.
Well, I like the changes in comps. I'm excited to see how these, I mean, I'm more than anything, the Sentinel head-to-head. Fireball Ops has been really good. Like, they played really, you know, proactive and aggressive as not only ISO, but even on Pearl. So seeing them on Vice here just honestly lines up with the playstyle really well, in my opinion.
Yeah, just Vice being able to have her own flash, a long trip, unbreakable, dividing teammates, but it's not about dividing, it's about conquering. If you're a team like NBG, front and center off mid, already dropping Spike, it's a 2v4 with Mel and Dodonut feeling the pressure already.
I mean, they tried to go for a mid play, which makes sense. It opens up a lot of opportunities on the A site, have control, and it just did not work. Double swing into this, and unfortunately just does not land. Immediately, we see the first picked up by NBG, continuing their dominance through from Pearl onto Abyss.
And feels like such a cop-out to talk about mental, but SRG...
No, honestly, it's fair.
Yeah, just with how the last map ended, I think what's been the story for SRG is how they've let maps slip where it's felt winnable. Talk about the 5-0 start that they had on Pearl to, well, the 12-round streak that was given up afterwards. And NBG going to a Jet instead of the Yoru. That was something that was a weak point of theirs, the Yoru, speaking of. Now this is a lot more mobile, a lot deadlier, and Kez just drives his hand through a no-scope, and Alum is fragging with the Sheriff. What is happening?
Honestly, treating it like an Odin, just go ba, 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 ba. And I love to see it. Right, I mean, having confidence here, flawless would be great. Sarah stealing it away. The boy is not coming. He's not on this round. But the spike is so far away. We need to see heroics after heroics out of Sarah. And they don't land. Kess is gonna grab them. I mean, the no scopes have been on fire. Again, treating it like a fully automatic weapon. Pow, 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 pow. And giving it to a limb as well here to buy up into this, to have even more firepower. 4-2-4-0. A limb, you know, has died, been the martyr for Nightblood, but regardless, they managed to coordinate so well. There's that timing, right?
Oh, there was a I thought it was a no scope, but it just did it for a second. Yeah, quick. It's a quick one.
Call of Duty Black Ops lobbies be like, pow, pow.
Yeah, and NBG are making that quick work of these rounds with the Marshals still in hand, watching over mid. And SRG, they don't pivot. They just try to overcome, and with Vandals, they think they can do just that. And Mel, okay, that.
Oh no!
What are we doing?
Oh no! Trying to go quiet, but falling. So, I mean, it's just. Hey, listen, they have been they have been taking first engagements, but the thing is that they've been getting a lot of 1-for-1, so this death is really crucial. And SRG unironically have a leg up so immensely now.
Well, it's gifted over, I guess. It's not how SRG want to win. There is some Astra util standing in their way, so they'll be able to drone up with Sarah, even use the knife if they're worried with Alexis. They're going to combine both. Boy in a one-and-done position, flash jump, and the whole squad is there. I don't know what Boy was expecting to do, but hoping for the one tap, not successful, and SRG is taking one step at a time, one kill at a time.
Good control of security as well. Something super important for the A site. Noya is going to find the double, and again, you have control of security. You're gaining some control of heaven here, off on the side. Very important stuff here for the A site, and SRG know that. Playing really well here. Hwin probably just going to go and try and find a couple of picks. I mean, a Bulldog carried over when you have 2,900, about 3K creds is not necessarily the most worth it.
Being able to keep every weapon on SRG's side feels pretty huge, but I'm not going to take that round super seriously when the duelist jumps off the map. So I'm going to look forward to
No, that's fair.
SRG and how they're going to approach A and where they can suss out this Vice util. That's what I'm worried about, because once that wall comes up, you can't break it, and then you can cause a lot of mayhem just off of that. Are we going to see Fireball maybe pivoting to the other side? Oh, the replay ops did him so dirty there.
we get the 4K high definition, but now going to the the point I made previously of maintaining security control as well as heaven control on the A site, it's really crucial. And that's why we see teams splitting into mid, taking that space early, something that SRG is looking to take in this round. Ooh, Dodo Nut.
Okay, first blood. This is going to pull NBG, at least one member, off the perimeter to watch mid, because you do not want to be flanked from that side, especially if you're patrolling B. Speaking of that Vice util all over. Not a wall, I believe, so SRG won't be cut off, but they could be slowed by these thorns, and, well, if Quinn is gone, it just gets easier from here on out. And I feel like Vice has better delay than Cypher with all these thorns coming up. Look how much SRG have to wait. So annoying. Eventually they'll make it through.
Now they're going to set up for this post plant, respecting that utility on the site. Fireball Ops, though, doesn't have much util. Is just looking to catch some timings and clear out space to allow the rest of the squad to pull up.
Hallam with an op. Woo. I'm sat. I'm watching. It's still a 4 versus 2.
And they're not going to push it.
Taking that back.
Yeah. Keeping expensive things is important. And Boys even got to get a nice Vandal for the road. And it's SRG able to clap back. And that's what we've been looking forward to, right? Stifling the momentum of NBG, which SRG have figured out for now. And without a duelist jumping off the map. Like, SRG won that fair and square.
But, I mean, honestly, that's why I wanted to point out that the SRG strategy is really solid on that previous round, regardless of what happened with Alim. And now we will be seeing some changes, hopefully out of Nightblood, to counter this. Realistically, you keep the hero rifle alongside the operator so that it can work together. And if one falls, another is still standing. So the fact that they can save 2 into this is very, critical to the success of this squad in future rounds. Alim, potentially, right, you find one, you have the Blade Storm, you drop the op for someone. There's a lot that can be done here. Kess on the Marshall, going for value and going for ecos. Oh, they know this op is here.
Oh. Alum no longer wants the smoke, but SRG got the orb. You got a Hunter's Fury, Sarah. Trying to get a ping. Hunter's Fury to flush out NBG. And Alum gets one for the road and is just playing hopscotch with the freaking Hunter's Fury. I can't believe that. Alum still lives while pinged, and SRG just didn't make the space they were hoping for. And with smokes back up, they can at least use this moment to actually pivot.
They tried to allow Dodona to fight for that security control and take space with the Hunter's Fury, but it just did not work. Like you mentioned, the hopscotch game laughable, like it's funny, but at the same time, it works out and now forces SRG into the B site. Vise is already there. They're really comfortable with their retake situation here. Nonetheless, the plant goes down without too much contest, and it's gonna allow SRG to position themselves towards heaven and maintain control of advanced plays. I love it.
And SRG, after winning last round, they have a financial buffer, so whatever happens here, they'll be able to buy up next round, as Mel needs to lock in on Fireball and take some time. It gives time for NBG to also clap back 1v1. Noya versus Win. And Mrs. President with 4, of course against the Bucky, but still, lots of credit there.
I will say the 4 was the credit there, honestly. I thought the advanced positioning was really good, but it slipped away from them, and it's kind of, you know, unfortunate to see how that happens. Mel calling while playing at the same time kind of, you know, takes it out of you just a little bit, but Noya being able to come up in true form here for Shopify Rebellion Gold. I mean, yeah, oh no, the replay ops have been have been doing some of these players, but just seeing that moment of brilliance near the end out of Noya makes it all worth it. And this time,
Not again. Oh,
not
my
happening
God.
again. No, they pressed the right button. Noya back at it. What?
Oh my God, an absolute masterpiece, but also scramble in mid, leaving both teams 3-3 apiece. Most importantly, no dodo net for entry, but a teleporting Mel will make the space past the Vice wall. Thankfully, there's an alternate route for Alexis. Mel is just doing it all on her own with no smokes now hindering Alum. Gonna see if he can catch SRG crossing into the site, but no one's home, and that's fine because you're waiting for Boy to catch up. And meanwhile, you get a flank from Noya to dispatch this defense before they can really get set up for a retake.
Man, it's crazy to think Noya almost feels like she knows, right? Like she knows.
Noya's.
She knows.
Sure.
I mean, so realistically, that timing was great. And then immediately after smoking off their back end as well to make sure that they don't get backstabbed by a timing or caught off guard. And again, right, they fight towards mid, something that Shopify Rebellion Gold have been having a lot of success with, regardless of what happens with the duelists. They have success with the fight in mid and managed to carry that into round victories here, something that should be addressed by Nightblood. And hopefully, I mean, soon, right? Because we saw the pinstripe kill feed, right? It was going back and forth in trades, but near the end, Shopify Rebellion Gold was picking up more kills and pivoting a lot faster, taking space in other parts of the map, making it a lot easier for them to win these rounds. And now that it's secured even more, I mean, it wasn't a question in my mind, but we get even more confirmation to Shopify's play.
Good. Let's go.
And a healthy credit pool for SRG to continue buying up. It's just gonna further extend this. So an important timeout from NBG as we check in on the map 3 Ambrosia Winthrop. Ooh, that one's going the distance too, 10-10. Holy cow! Yeah, I'm going cross-eyed trying to pay attention to both matches at the same time. But it's been really cool actually this season to update you on multiple matches at once. But it's been a great week too.
It has been right here in Challengers. And again, just to reiterate what I said, right? Nightblood needing to kind of address the sort of mid-presence that we've been seeing out of Shopify Rebellion Gold. They're going to be talking about, you know, Kess has ultimate. They don't have as many credits. They need to start building up their bankroll if we want to see the all-father, the all-seeing eye of Kess come back up. And honestly, I kind of find it really funny that we make that analogy, considering that they are info initiator here.
SRG, I mean, they found success at both sites and even learning how to get across the Vice util by just simply teleporting past it. Maybe that's something Mel studied up on beforehand, so not just the paranoia to enable Donut, but just the ability to get past some util compared to the Astra, who has a lot more bells and whistles to play with after the buffs. They just have to be careful of Alum and whether or not they have it up. And, you know, with how broke NBG are, not expecting that, but light armor buys and a hero phantom from NBG side.
Not fighting for mid, expecting SRG to kind of counter that because SRG have been going mid and changing up their pacing. And instead allowing this player to push in. You know, Dodonet is pushing in as well. Aelin with the op. Sorry, with the hero rifle.
Donut thought she sensed something at the the sight cut there, and unfortunately stood still, gave a chance for NBG lurking around. Shooter in the back, and for NBG to try to recover some of these weapons too. Meanwhile, Mel keeps this whole round close, hoping to race to the other side, but now mid will be cut off as Mel needs a bit of help and at least denies a chance for Cass to pick up a rifle.
Denies him that opportunity, but now with Mel out of it, puts into question, right? A lot of these rounds, you know, with her calling have been led to victory and success. We have one on each site, probably going to be playing for the A retake. We don't have too much weapons here, right? Nightblood Gaming does not have much to work with here, but they have done a lot of damage to Shopify Rebellion Gold, so regardless, this round is still proven fruitful.
Cover going out.
How they know?
A tougher round than SRG expected, and one that they still need to close out. 10 seconds. There is Quinn trying to prevent the plant, and this puts Alexis in a tough spot. And Boy is around the corner, barely getting that plant off. Alexis locks in to the final duel, and of course the timing not favoring SRG for once. An unlucky look away, ring around the Rosie. It's deadly. It's Alexis that tries to pivot and dance, but Boy will defuse and clutch for NBG.
Ooh, that round was more than fruitful. It was successful. They let go of mid, and SRG tried to counter that by going into B, but it didn't work. The re-exploration in mid, out of the side of Mel, and the rest of the roster for SRG did not provide them much other than a pick on a limb. This 1-for-1 is really crucial, and again, right, Mel being alive in these like final moments have been so impactful. Without it, seems kind of rough, those cases.
Yeah, SRG went from such a beautiful execution of B, of full clearing, even sending Noya on the prowl on the flank, to dashing on in and not checking every little spot on the B site. So uncharacteristic slip up, but Hallam wants to capitalize on that paranoia, on that blind on SRG, and now it's just two dogs barking on the other side of the fence with no result.
But look who's down towards mid. Noya has some space here. Even if they are contesting it from afar, they still have a good sight line into mid, and they can recontest back into A if they need to. I mean, they're falling off on it, but no deaths, right? The key is that no one has fallen just yet. We have ultimates ready for both sides. I'm gonna use theirs for some info. Doesn't find much. Dodo on the entry.
And that breaks open the site. Now Kess with a recon with shock bolts. What? They get no pings off that. And Kess may have been paranoid there by Mel. And there's just no info and the suppression on top of that. But at the backside is NBG. That rip apart the setup of SRG that seemed so promising early. Off of the setup.
30 seconds left.
NBG now hold a crossfire as Sarah hopes to isolate one, does so, successful. Shock bolt gets Win low, and Sarah executes yet on another, and the teamwork does make the dream work for SRG, but there's still one task left. The final boss of Pearl awaits, and it's Kess versus Alexis. Not the first or the last time we'll see these two superstars match, but it's with a spike planted and with Alexis feeling assured of the win, with Kess running out of time. Now, at least with that recon, you know where Alexis is. With the suppression, the defuse gets held halfway. Alexis just on prevention protocol, led fumbles and does not buy enough time for the defuse. NBG tie.
1 second was the difference. 1.7 seconds for even more. I mean, what a round, and the defuse comes through near the very end. And it's those small things I'm talking about, like SRG was fighting for security and heaven control, right? We see early they try to fight for it, but unfortunately, you know, retake protocols kick in. You have to make sure you don't lose on the defensive side, neither heaven nor security. And I mean, that's really important, right? If you make sure you have those two crucial choke points, you create such a strong opposition on the defense and allow, those are literally your 2 points of entry for retake. And unfortunately, for SRG, it's not something that they have been able to break without an ultimate in hand. For Nightblood, they're so content with retaking A as long as they have those 2 spots that they just stack up more of the Sentinel utility B, prevent Mel from pushing in at all, and fully have retake A protocols.
Oh, command from Alexis, surging to the very back, and boy, just parachute gets to, and the no command is just not enough to silence the haters, to silence this defense. It's flawless at that.
And I mean, SRG went back to what they had previously, what worked previously, which was the push into mid. They managed to take a decent amount of space. Good timeout called here to prevent a lot of the bleeding, right? We are on the final game of this BO3, so it's do or die for both squads. And in my mind here, right, like they went back to what worked. They pushed into mid. Mid was something that they have explored consistently, and it had provided a decent amount of value. But the counter for that, Nightblood Gaming just held on, right? You just hold in space. And now Nightblood has 2 really solid ultimates, more specifically the Cosmic Divide more than anything. So how are you going to deal with that? How are you going to counter it? We're just seeing the moments of brilliance from some of these plays off Noya. Little Noya clip farm here.
Yeah, and the fact that they just tried to do what Noya did before, solo, but as a team, and they all got wiped out. And yeah. I've really got to give a really shiny sticker to Boy, because this has been a player that sometimes gets outshined by how good the rest of his team is, and for him to really stand up tall in that round to hold his own, of course, with the help of his team, but to stop a duelist as good as Donut in the middle of her dash, it's pretty impressive.
Now, I mean, SRG, they have a buy up here. They're stacking into mid again. There's a counter from mid-aggression on to Nightblood Gaming. They have 2 players posted up here. Remember how these rounds went previously. Hopefully this isn't the same. Alim's just getting aggro.
Oh, geez. NBG have needed to benefit from this mid-presence from SRG. And SRG has out-pressured the defense. And now off this Hunter's Fury, Sarah and friends can walk away with dust in their trail. That NBG now have to pay attention to mid, and SRG can have almost an open sight. Depends how they deal with Boy here, and it's an immediate lock on 1. Traded, spike drop, but recovered or gathered, and it'll be an A site plant. But will Hwin and Kes get there in time? SRG are expecting someone else here.
They are, and look at the crucial tower control has been gained here by Kes. They fall off of it though, the smoke forcing them back into it. Again, they're planting for this tower wrap just in case, playing for security. And look at Hwin. Hwin's not even there, so the mind games are starting to race here. Mel taking the proactive approach in this round. Honestly, I feel like that's really critical for their success.
Trying to rotate anywhere outside of A is an overcook with 30 seconds left, so just trying to clear as much as they can. They haven't looked at this top window though. Now by clearing backside, SRG can just focus on that window, and with the neural theft, they'll get indication of where Kes is. And now with the drone, knowing at least where Mel is on site, but where's the second? Where is Noya? She already spots the barrel off the blind. And just delay is the game plan for SRG, but they're getting surrounded, and Mel holds her own, and so does Noya on the front, and they tie it up.
The relinquish of control out of tower and the fight for it, right, with Noya as well as Mel taking those really crucial retake spots, the proactivity out of Mel, it's just so beautiful to see the conversion come out for SRG. They, you know, it wasn't off the timeout exactly, it took a little bit of time. We did see a change of pace as well, with Alim going really fast and trying to take the fights. But at the end of the day, when all is said and done, Mel has been calling really good here and making sure she leads SRG to success.
There's been a lot of success at A. Just being able to smoke off the places you don't want to clear and taking your time. It's worked out for SRG to break that little win streak that NBG were on. They'll have their lurk of Noya inserted on the left side of the map. No mid peaks. NBG have Hwin and Boy in position, even with a Cosmic Divide too.
Back towards A, they, again, are going to fight for this control, and that's the initial start. And they clear out Boy. Immediately, Nightblood falling back to maintain space of security, as well as one in heaven.
What? Boy got that kill wall blinded too. And a 3K? That's not a boy, that's a man. Okay, I'm gonna say it now. We've been waiting to see this evolution. And NBG, I mean, Boy was pinged by the drone too. Such at a disadvantage, and SRG cannot surge in to deal with the problem. It's a 2v2,
30 seconds
so
left.
it's not over yet.
Last player standing.
Oh, wow. Still a problem.
Last
Her name is
player
Noya.
standing.
Alum is the solution. 1v1. With the spike still to be defused. Alum, being loud and proud, doesn't want to waste any time. Bringing Noya into his line of sight. Now the pre-fire. Noya already takes a shot to the chest. Gonna disengage at 38. As Alum, the defuse halfway, is actually gonna try and stick it. Noya has to peek! And she did not expect him to hold that and just gonna decide to hold the weapon instead.
Last round before the switch.
I mean, I was about to be like, for every boy, there's a president. And then unfortunately, the country was not led to success there. Noya, who's been leading the charge 13-5, playing so well, just having the wrong read in that moment. And that one thing changes. Nightblood now with the 6, they have the leg up. And look at this positioning. It was so well. Boy was popping off. We see Alim going for trades. Noya was primed for this really successful 4K to lock things in. And fortunately, it just did not land. Now, Alim taking a forward position for this B hit.
Oh, see, like, that was so unnecessary. Like, so unnecessary.
I was about to say, like, this could be really devastating because the spike's towards B, but unfortunately, it doesn't even matter.
I gotta watch some Jet videos on how that's necessary, but NBG,
It's not.
lose their duelist early. Don't know that cut down early by Fireball. And it's SRG. I get closed off by the Cosmic Divide, so this is also a boon to them because NBG don't know if SRG are still there or not. Did they pivot to A? All NBG can do is wait. They got no info off the recon from Kess.
Thinking about all these strategies, but that Cosmic Divide is just beautiful. And in terms of strategy, right, the fake, not the fake, but the hold to then pop onto B site is honestly really nice out of SRG because they have the numbers onto this and it doesn't matter. Noya's going to fall. No more numbers there. They have to entry fast here.
30 seconds
The
left.
threat on the high ground is smoked off, and Mel reacts perfectly to the walk-up from Kess. And it's been lead change after lead change in terms of the numbers in this round alone. You got Mel. She says, let me cook, but not going to commit to the teleport. Now just dances with her life against Gwyn, hoping for the teamwork of SRG to collapse on Gwyn, and they do. They trade. It benefits SRG this time with a 6-6 half.
I mean, first we had Haven, which was super close. Then we have the equalizer coming out here. These teams are neck and neck at every single step, every which way we see it, every which way we slice it. It's 50-50. And at this point, they've been trading rounds. They've been trading multiple rounds in a row. Nightblood picking up 4, SR picking up 2, then 3. The replay ops have really been on it, though, I will say, because that isn't necessary. And I feel like that kind of costs them, right? Because imagine the impact that you could have out of a player if we just had Alim eliminate the rest of the SRG squad who was pulling up. If Mel fell there, and Mel has been really crucial in the late rounds, it would have been an entirely different story. The scoreline probably would have changed up as well.
What a walk-up from SRG. Just 3 going down mid. Alum kills 2. And that is the Alum we know and love. With a third one? Oh, they just gotta buy pistols all the time. Because that just single-handedly dismantled mid for SRG.
Wow. Just the fact, I mean, I like the stack out of SRG, but at the end of the day, you can't discount the Alum factor. right? They're just popping off. It's huge for them.
Planted.
The plant's going to go down. They have the Vise utilities set up. They set the stars up for success, and now you just have Noya and Alexis to deal with the rest of the squad, and they won't be able to re-entry here safely, right? They're going to be met with hostiles at every step of the way.
And look at where this Vice wall is. If SRG don't cross together, they'll be isolated, and, well, if not, they'll be picked apart at range. NBG just simply outnumber them. And this is a cool use of the Vice on the post plane. Hopefully we'll get to see more of it, but it will be NBG with back-to-back pistol rounds here on Abyss.
Something that might be crucial later down the line is the fact that Boy was all the way in spawn already. So they kind of are, even preemptively, were preparing for the potential of Noya and seeing how crucial they've been in these clutches. So having all that still is kind of important to bring up, because that if left unchecked, that could be a big problem. But the big problem here right now is also just the fact that individually, Nightblood Gaming is starting off hot. They've done this previously. They got the pistol. They're getting the pistol again here. Consistency, huge out of Nightblood.
Yeah, you talked about the 50-50, but SRG gambled on the wrong site. They're just gonna all walk up into the farmhouse. That is Boy, okay. 2 for 1. Pretty solid. And SRG have Noya running around mid, so how many weapons can NBG take into the next round? That is what's key to watch.
Here.
I mean, right now, they have themselves 2 rifles and an outlaw, but with Alexis picking up the bonus buy weapon of the Bulldog, could be a nice little farm for them. They're going to try and take as many weapons out as they can. I mean, they're really late to the punch, so the timing's already running thin. It's a matter.
We'll get to see how Noya sets up in the future too, as now the Sentinel, the one that has to hold down a site the same way Fireball did on the Vice at B. And you're seeing that same Vice post plant wall. So this will be cool to see how NBG can build off of this as well. This will be a 2-round lead. And with the state of the economy, the NBG are very happy to keep these weapons.
My burden never
At least the Vandal.
Do have the buy up here for Shopify Rebellion. Nothing in terms of ults just yet, just super early in the round. We haven't seen pop-off moments for that to be built up here. Noya going for the Phantom, potentially. I mean, they're soloing towards A as well, so they kind of have to be that anchor, and we've seen a lot out of Noya as well. On the flip side, 1-2-2 spread with the bomb going down towards mid. I mean, actually going down towards A. I expect them to kind of go and lean A if they go for a mid play so they can contest some space out tower, potentially even draw some of the SRG players into mid. What an interesting Cypher trip off the wall, off the ceiling. What? Yeah, I mean...
Trying to stop someone from jumping up on the box so Noya can play passive at back site, and we'll see if Noya's cooking the right way. That's what we were looking forward to. How can she fortify A? Because usually this top window will be smoked off, and Sarah can only do what she can if her recon hits or not. And Noya so far survives even through the Vice Thorns being thrown her way, but there is someone creeping up next to her.
Spooky. Still 5-5 though.
Oh.
I mean, we had Jinx, I guess, Lemon, but it's just a bit unfortunate on the timing. That's gonna draw Sarah to go back towards A. Nalim's good on the shot. There it is.
30 seconds left.
Like, who expects like a Jet to be lurking on the opposite side like in Narnia? Like, now NBG got free reign of B. They don't even need an entry. They've just been fragging. That's all it takes for NBG. SRG had the better buy. Like, it was light armor, it was Guardians, 1 Vandal, I think, for NBG. Like,
shadows traveling.
So look at where Alim is, by the way. They're coming back from Narnia to join the main fight. So regardless of what Mel does here, it is a stacked deck. Like, you have to be truly amazing. And I believe Mel can get the 2 here, but at the end of the day, the pressure just built up. The chambers closing in on you as the pressure continues to mount, and now 3 found for Nightblood and no timeouts, if I'm not mistaken, available for SRG. Creates it. I lied, it seems. No, there is a timeout. It's perfect timing as well. Gives SRG some more room to work with.
And SRG just have to figure out the A side and just who expects like Alum to still be there. SRG probably had the read that NBG are pivoting sites, and for Alum to jump up at the spot that the trip was at, catching not only Noya but a second, like that round alone felt won just by Alum.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, because it did pressure a lot of the players out from mid, and we had a Noya kill reel, and now we get an Alum one as well. That type of stuff, right? Super crucial for denying players any information, because now, I mean, with Noya falling, and then it forces Sarah as well to go and re-clear, because you don't know if the rest of the team has walked up into it, so the kerfuffle just blows up in your face that much faster.
SRG just won't be able to buy up, and we'll have to gamble stack again, where their last eco was over on the A side, and Boy has been the guy to watch for those flanks. He did so on Haven, and SRG have adapted to now having to watch a little extra carefully these corners. So this time SRG are going to gamble, and not only that, get aggressive off B, and Dodonut is huge with the pistol. And this weapon could be recovered if SRG keep on the press, but this corpse is too far away.
Gamble stack working out, but at the end of the day, it's just going to be the weapons advantage still in favor of Nightblood. So they got to dig deep. They're on the defense, though, so I give them one piece of credit here, is that they stick together. We see the 3-stack core, Dodo and the 2 initiators walking around together. As long as they can keep that up and set up Dodonut for success, huge for SRG.
Now, the cards, the dice are in the hands of NBG. Where do they want to roll up to next? Pings are going down at B. Got alert from Boy to watch any kind of flank that SRG like to do. Cross map. They did on Haven.
The knife finds nothing. The knife finds nothing. The knife finding nothing is going to call for the rotate. And look who got out. Noya is out of here. So they're going to know where this spike is going down. The spike did go down, and they don't have too much in terms of retake potency.
It's the power of this Vice on post plan. Like, look at the delay to Thorns at the mid cut, to the high ground, to smokes. Like, SRG just they did good damage. Of course, they got first blood, but they didn't recover the weapon. And now they got to face all this post plan util, but the Sheriffs still hurt when they hit the head. And SRG bring this to a 2 versus 1, but time is running out, and Hwin is in such a difficult spot to dislodge, and swings at the perfect time to clutch up for NBG.
Oh, man, but it does make the NBG bleed, right? They won 4 in a row, but that was left with only 1. Economy-wise, it should start to build for Shopify. If Shopify can pick this up, that is, more future-proofing than anything. And you do have 3 rounds until that future looks bleak, unfortunately. But for SRG on the defense here, they have Dodonut, not only with an op in hand, but the retake Blade Storm available. They're setting them up towards both Alexis and Dodo. More nerdy trips, but they don't get set up. They get flushed out by Nightblood.
And Hwin bought light armor, so not sure if they're saving up for something special, but Alum's saving one special bullet for Sarah with a first blood opening in mid. And NBG, if they're allowed to have all 5 players on post plant, it's gonna be just impossible for SRG, especially against the Vice, the smokes, the Thorns. Like, you don't know what awaits you on the other side, including the Vice flashes. So SRG have to put a lot of eggs in the Dodonut basket, not only now, but just in the future, to get these first picks, to get them more consistently at that. And Nightblood can just repeat the same play in their playbook.
I mean, and future proofing doesn't matter when the current round is falling out of your favor. Just the deep vice wall, as well as just being able to take space. Gosh, I don't know what to say. I'm sorry.
Oh, good.
I don't know what to analyze here when I just see.
That kind of breaks your brain when you're looking. We want to keep that. We want to keep that, right? Okay.
Yeah. I was about to say, no, that's so smart. That's so smart. Because now they can't go for the kill shot, right? It's too far away. And from once, that was such a silly ending to 11. But
Alum has been really key this match, though. Just to re-highlight the duelist matchup, we have previously hyped up the fact that Donut is experienced on the Jet. And I would say more so than Alum, just based on the fact that we've seen more Yoru and Neon. And the fact that Alum is outclassing Donut is really surprising to me, just based on hours alone.
Honestly, it just feels like Alum's just playing this like rank where it's like, all right, we're going to just go in and shoot. Like the push down towards mid and the ability to get in and out, right? Calling is there. Alum falling, scaring everyone at home, but nope, they're back towards safety. They still have 5 players up and alive. Nightblood's going to get a fast plant at that as well.
You are divided.
Knives out with a shorty, Cosmic Divide, but SRG have already crossed that barrier. And now with the blind onto Alum, SRG just can't get sightlines, and it's Kent suppressing them. So although there's a beautiful line, Mel still has another one in the back pocket. Throws it out. No kills follow through. SRG have no info. Don't know where anybody is. As soon as they walk in, it's traded. And NBG have 3 left. And it's up to Donut to really shine. And with the help of her teammate as bait, Donut will get the kill, but with no health, she'll still pull off the scenario in a 1v1. But it's Alum with knives out that cuts down the chances of SRG. Now match point, series point.
Match point.
Oh, and that is just devastating. 6 in a row from a 6-6 half. We even saw a timeout out of Shopify Rebellion Gold, and it just was rough. And we're talking about, you said on social media, like the SRG squad's talking about, how they're letting games slip away from them, and it feels like a repeat of history here in Challengers. That's such a rough thing to say, but the reality is painted here. And sure, I can give some nuggets of hope of, we have 2 ultimates available. The neural theft can be really crucial, but they're gonna need to really dig for some heroics here off the Shopify Rebellion Gold side.
And this is just another map that SRG have to work on. I think they've only played it once with this core, with Donut.
Yeah.
And it could just simply be an experience thing and just a wrong day for them, because this is very uncharacteristic of SRG to fall this bad on offense when they've been together for years. But we'll see how this round ends up. 3 versus 3 and a broken bye for SRG, leading NBG to just put a cherry on top to this round. Alexis is 5 HP. She's got 1 shot, 1 opportunity, literally, or she will fall, and she has a flash.
Oh.
Now she can play off her own flash this time. And the paranoia goes through. Who in Fireball with the ult left denies Donut her weapon.
30 seconds left.
But can wait it out. Spike hasn't even been planted yet.
Spike planted.
Donut, Vandal is back. Dash activated, and Fireball lights up what's left of SRG. And it's a map 3 win for Nightblood to get their first win in Challengers.
Pick it up. Nightblood Gaming managed to take it, and they have a 1-1 record back up into the Swiss stage. Hats off to Nightblood Gaming. This was a team that upset previously on YFP. They managed to do well. This is one of those teams that I will probably say is going to get better within Challengers over time, but you do have the unfortunate reality of SRG falling a little bit short. Still, though, both teams fought valiantly, took it to game 3, made it competitive between them. I always love, that's my favorite thing, right, is when a match gets competitive, right? I'm always here for the storylines of 2 teams fighting it out. But unfortunately, it's going to be Nightblood Gaming. Actually, no, fortunately for Nightblood Gaming, they managed to pick up a victory after having a hard-fought battle against YFP.
And we didn't even get to see the potential of Nightblood Gaming's offense on Abyss because they got rolled 10-2 on their defense against YFP, that the game was kind of over by then. And this is where apparently Nightblood flourishes on offense, off of Alum's blood, sweat, and tears, just the entirety of the team adapting their comp and thriving, clearly doing the work between weeks. A big congratulations to Nightblood Gaming. So we're going to say goodbye for now, but we want to hear from the desk, and don't go anywhere. We're going to have an interview with Nightblood Gaming, so we'll see you soon.
I feel like in open tournaments, even teams that are, you know, more inexperienced and haven't been together as long are all like clawing to be the best team and to win. I feel like the energy is like everybody's trying to be the absolute best. So that is something I feel is a little bit different than Game Changers, because there isn't a lot of Game Changers teams at the moment. So it's hard to field that kind of competitive environment when there's just so few teams right now. So playing in open tournaments, I feel like we kind of get that sort of push for us to be even more competitive and for us to try even harder against these teams who are also trying just as hard. I feel like this is not a diss to Floor, because obviously Floor is just the best Game Changers player to exist. But I feel like we're more well-rounded as a team because it's not solely focused on setting up Floor now, where it's more so everyone on the team has an opportunity to pop off. Obviously Karn is insane and she's still a pop-off duelist for sure. But I think it made everybody else think, okay, I need to step up and I need to be able to, you know, frag out a bit more to fill Floor's shoes, essentially. To be in Challengers, it feels like my entire career and my team's entire career, I've kind of led up to this. It feels like this is always what we've been working towards. So honestly, at first it was a little anticlimactic because it was like, oh, well, we did it. Now what? So to be able to compete in these matches and play against better competition, it's honestly really fun more than anything, but also it is like a breath of fresh air to be able to play against new players and new teams and all that. Honestly, my only expectation for us is for us to do our best, and if we do that, then I'm happy, to be honest. I'm not going to set a super high goal or expectation. I just want us to do our best, to be honest.
Player stand.
To Abyss, a map that might have been a little shaky but didn't seem like it. Nightblood Gaming to get the victory in the end. I mean, Ash, throughout this series, a lot of times this was step in step and a lot of good moments from both teams, but in the end, Nightblood Gaming with the upper hand.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because we have consistently seen these strong starts from Shopify Rebellion, but then once Nightblood kind of get a taste of how SR are playing on the map, what their tempo is like, what their defaults are looking like, that's where you see Nightblood really starting to come alive and looking to counter that, trying to find those timings up against them, and just a bit more of like a slow start team that shifts into like this heavy momentum. But honestly, I don't even feel like it's necessarily like momentum based play. I feel like they're just more so slow starters.
I mean, once Steve's got warmed up, it was really, really cool to see. I love that we got to see, Dan, multiple like 3Ks or like clutch situations coming out from both that really just got to highlight, I mean, every player across the board at some point.
Yeah, it is really nice instead of Nightblood, especially with the way that they started this match. It seemed like at least in the beginning it was going to be over in two, and they were not going to be able to get the win. So that comeback that Nightblood had, especially Alim, is really nice to see playing across a few agents too. And when the side of SR, I think it just felt like an off game for them. Honestly, I think they had some great ideas, like you said, individually, some great moments, some great micros, but it is really not like them to lose the bonus and lose the momentum completely, right? They start to come back, they start to have these pieces come back. I don't really know what it was, but I mean, for Nightblood is a great work of adapting and working around that. You work with your own strengths, but also with all the weaknesses that you see on the other side.
Yeah, and speaking of working with those strengths, I know Fireball Ops, he didn't necessarily have the flashiest map, but I think that there were some nice things that we saw on defense from NBG that kind of leans into the idea of, okay, let's take a beat to see how Shopify Rebellion are playing, and then immediately looking to kind of counter that, knowing that Dodo Nut, when they're hitting towards that B site, she prefers to do that like very default, like updraft dash onto top site, and having those vines able to counter it. We saw Fireball able to kind of shut her down and divide her up from the rest of the team, who's not able to like follow up in that sense either. So honestly, really nice heads up plays from them. It was nice to see the adaptations happening live in the server.
And an adaptation that even happened before we got into the game itself too was a little bit of a not a role swap, an agent swap coming out for Alum. Last time when we got to see this Abyss, it was this Yoru instead and didn't really pan out. But him on the Jet, he's been doing really, really well all series. Do not get me wrong, but Dan, this agent swap I think was just the thing needed. And honestly, with some of these multi kills he was getting, some of these shots, there wasn't even room for Shopify Rebellion to try and even get back into some rounds if they wanted to.
Really cool to see Ellen popping off and having these great moments. Again, we saw a bunch of agents being played today just on the duelist role. That Yoro's second map with the Neon, and this Jet to close it out, where I mean, you know that he's gonna be comfortable on the Jet. It's a good map as well for it. You're gonna be able to play around with the operator, with the Outlaw too. But I mean, him by himself, he's already such a fragger that the map kind of worked around him in a way.
Yeah, it was nice with the space and everything else that he was able to make on some of these rounds. That really did just make the difference. And that's all right. We didn't need to show that right at the end. We're rocking the good things, but all right. All right. This is how we're gonna play it. That's all right, that's fine. On that note, but minus how those replays ended, we got to see a lot of good stuff. So we have none other than Alum on the line for our interview. So heading on over to that. First off, congratulations on the series win. It was a long one. This was an insane series. How are you feeling after that?
I'm very nervous, very, very nervous. I'm shaky. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's visible. I'm like so shaky. I'm happy the shots hit sometimes. Like I don't even know how, but I'm just too nervous. But I'm happy. It was a long game. Very, very happy.
I mean, where do you think the nerves come from? Were you nervous like playing and being broadcasted? Like
I have no clue. We scream a lot. We put hard work in, and during the scrims, it's not even an issue. I think it's somewhere like back of my mind, like oh, there's people watching, and I start getting a little nervous. I think just because people are watching. Yeah.
Hey, I mean, I could not tell that in the server whatsoever with the performance that you're able to put up today. So congratulations on hiding the nerves there. I want to talk first about that third map where you're able to close out. So last week, we saw you guys up against YFP. We saw this Yoru instead. Didn't necessarily pan out. And now the adaptation into the Jet today. I want to know how you feel about that change now.
Oh, I'm feeling perfect because we played Yoru. This wasn't not my kind of play style. It's too much util to worry about. And I like taking fights kind of dry with no util. And then we scrimmed against MIBR against Aspas, and we like their approach and their gameplay, where we just let Aspas do whatever, just make pressure on the map, and then you guys won. And we stole the comp from another team. We stole it from EG, and then stole the approach from MIBR, and just let me do my own thing, and just my team sets me up, and I get the kills.
Hey, if it works out, absolutely no shame in stealing a comp from someone else. It definitely seemed to fare well for you today. I want to talk about the mentality too of going into this long series. Obviously, that first map, we got into the triple OT loss there. That was crazy. Then Shopify Rebellion Gold on map 2, 5 rounds in a row. you call a timeout, and then win 12 in a row. Like, what was that switch there to make that happen?
It's more of our coach calls. He doesn't really give us a direction. He just says like, stop being scared, just swing and shoot. That's what timeout is for. Like, yo, catch a breath, take a step back, and just don't be a coward and just swing and kill him. And that's generally the approach, how we like get it back. Because once we like lose 3 or 4 in a row, we start playing scared because there's like stakes. But then you just tell us, no, just back up and just y'all practice, y'all know what you're doing, just do your thing.
I mean, the confident approach definitely worked out because you're all very capable of shooting. So now with Nightblood Gaming, of course, we're looking at a lot of really strong teams and challengers. This is a nice win today. How are you feeling about the rest of the split and the other teams that you'd be going up against?
Feeling confident. We put a lot of time in. Feel confident. We do our best. We do what you gotta do. And if we lose, we lose. We win, we win. Just can't regret it. And just look forward.
That's awesome. Alan, thank you so much for the chat. Have a good night. All right. Congrats again.
Yep, thank you. Peace out.
Peace. All right, back over to the desk. Dude, if I had nerves like that, I wouldn't be able to hit a shot. So being able to just consistently drop as many kills as he's been able to, Ash, despite that, crazy.
Hey, sometimes it just comes with, you know, the innate ability to do so. You kind of got to let instincts take control a little bit every once in a while. But I think it's also nice to kind of hear him even admit that on stream. Not all players are going to be able to, you know, allow that vulnerability to kind of show in that way. So I have a lot of respect for Alim for being able to say that.
If that's like, I'm a nervous wreck right now, Alan, and still putting up those numbers, I do not want to see him like when all of a sudden those are just completely calm. That'll be absolutely crazy. But congratulations yet again to Nightblood Gaming being able to get this win on the board. And looking over to our bracket, kind of talk a little bit on the day. Dan, we're now, I mean, halfway through the week. There's still going to be matches tomorrow, but I think it's interesting that we get to see a little bit from everyone so far.
Yeah, that's exactly what we wanted last week, right? We were talking about like, oh, I want to see this other match that is going on the B stream. I want to see this other team that I haven't been able to see. But slowly but surely, we're going through and getting the chance to do that. Tomorrow, I just want to say I'm excited. We have such good matches. I can't wait.
I wonder which one you're most excited for as you're tweeting about Qbert Academy and how good they're going to be.
I was not going to say it, but if you're gonna say it, then I'll talk about it. I can't wait to see Qbert Academy. This is like one of my favorite teams right now. Also, they have it also might just be because they have a really nice plushie. That might be part of it. But in general, the team is amazing, and they had a crazy comeback last week. I'm like, I want to see that on the mainstream. I want to be analyzing this year.
I mean, the plushie buff is absolutely real, but definitely a super exciting team to be witnessing so far. And how the other matches kind of wrapped up for today. M80 with the win, Winthrop University with that win as well. So really good stuff over there. Cannot wait to go back and see those replays. But Dan, I know what you're excited for tomorrow. Ash, anything else that we'd like to wrap up today? A nice little bow on top.
For wrapping up today, I mean, I think I gotta agree with Dan on Qbert Academy. That's like undeniable. But this is also, I guess, a hint to all other VCL teams. Maybe make a plushie to get the desk a little bit more biased.
Is that easy?
It is that, you know, a sad esports teddy bear would go pretty hard. I'm not gonna lie. But I am looking forward to tomorrow. I think today's matches were great. I'm just glad that I went at least even in my predictions.
That's all that matters in the end. And I went positive, so
okay.
I'm going to give myself the pat on the back there, and I'll end it off here. Thank you, everyone, so much for tuning in. Production crushing it. You guys are crushing it, and the casters as well. A lot more matches tomorrow. It'll be a good time. We'll see you then.
A plant this can be with all the smokes in the way, rankers won't challenge it yet. They're not pressed. They know it's about the war, not just the fight. And with the rolling thunder, Burger Boyz waste no time trying to put rankers' backs against the wall, because it is do or die for the map. And the deficit grows for Burger Boyz with Matt left, but secures 2 kills. The cane swing is 2.
Space B, a little bit more sneaky, kind of how it like Inspire was on Haven.
Of course, we know these are ranked demons, but just a reminder that we haven't seen rankers play Abyss, even in stage 3, and even now. So this is kind of a new comp. This is a new showing, and I guess it doesn't matter.
Start this off rather strongly.
Damn. Oh, Alvin. Oh, wait, King's there again? Not again. Dude, man. Rankers are stoic in these positions, and Burger Boyz are trying to fight back with shooting the Yoru clone. That's not a good start, but Alvin with 3 can only do...
He has it.
Well, it's being tapped, and Burger Boyz, I like that they're confident enough to go for the paranoia to try and peek, and even through the one-way, Burger Boyz tried to go down with a roar, and Rankers off the one-way. That's all they need to do is shoot the little toesies, and it's just the Kane ult to get them back on their feet, and it's Alvin, the last one left in a 1v4 against 3 Vandals and a Sheriff, and there's nothing more he could do. Rankers with a 2-0 sweep will finish week 2 2-0.
We need to stick together, play together, and just shoot them back mentality that worked so well for Rankers previously on this map. And they're running their comp, so it's working amazingly.
I like this call from SRG to go for a B site because you're facing it off, and this is the most awkward place to play it off. But off the flash, NBG try to jump in, but into the loving arms of Noya that sends them right. Activated. NBG shutting down all the util, getting rid of Noya, and the lockdown will still ensue from Fireball.
Man, it seems like I might have cursed it here. And 5 players up on site. Lexus and Sarah needing to step up beyond the plate and hit multiple home runs in a row. A unicorn of a round, if I've ever seen one, is what needs to happen here.
Alexis has no util either. Now 1v4 to save the map, to prevent a bit. And it can't happen. A bow, a cherry on top to this round. Alexis is 5 HP. She's got 1 shot and 1 opportunity, literally, or she will fall, and she has a flash. Now she can play off her own flash this time. And the paranoia goes through. Win and Fireball with the ult left denies Donut her weapon. Can wait it out. Spike hasn't even been planted yet. Donut, Vandal is back. Dash activated, and Fireball lights up what's left of SRG. And it's a map 3 win for Nightblood to get their first win in Challengers. They'll plant this